live. I got Sienna on call. Today,
Hey.
you guys know what time it is. This is gonna be a more chill live. Kind of late as it is. I saw some news I wanted to talk about, and I took a few days off. I was offline for a few days. Everyone was asking where the hell I was at. Man, political discourse right now is lame. Political discourse is lame all around. When I read the daily political stories, even when I'm looking at my timeline right now, I can't help but to be fucking bored with this same shit. Even among leftist discourse. Let me tweet the YouTube link out as well. Well, no, I'm complaining about discourse right now because things are kind of stupid right now. Things are really dumb. You know what I'm talking about, Sienna? Why I tweet this link out? Am I just talking for no reason here? But
I mean, nothing new has appeared on my timeline other than just more talk of the 25th Amendment and impeachment. Other than that, I'm really just like, is there literally nothing new happening? Like,
that's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna to my YouTube link out now. It's saying I'm discussing the dumb leftist discourse that have been going on. That feels why.
oh well, actually, something that did happen today is that apparently the ex-governor of Michigan, Snyder, I think you
Yeah,
said you were going to talk about him. That
yeah,
apparently
I'm
he's
gonna
going
talk
to
about
be
him.
charged.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna talk about him too, because that's the guy that endorsed Joe Biden, and they was so happy about that endorsement. The liberal media
And
was so happy.
now he's pretty much a criminal.
Yeah, he's a criminal. They are charging him because the Flint water crisis and his he wasn't. It wasn't even just negligence. No, it wasn't just him not responding to the crisis properly. He was literally trying to cover it up. We had to go through that as well, and that's why I'm wondering what exactly they're gonna nail him on. But when it comes to like our government holding like the rich and powerful accountable, I don't ever have high expectations for that. So I remember I left the comment like, "Yo, this dude probably get like a year in community service." And now think about what he did. He poisoned an entire community of people. They're still going through health crises right now. They still don't have the water fixed down there. I mean, kids are literally having lifelong health issues because of the poison they had in the water back down there. And Rick Snyder was complicit in covering that up. Not only did he ignore the crisis, he was complicit in covering it up. So we're definitely gonna talk about that right now. We got
That's
Magnator in the
that's
comments. You gotta get on stream. Like today's gonna be a more chill discussion live today. Probably get some comrades on. But like I said, I took a few days off because man, I'm like looking at my timeline. I'm looking at everything that's going on, and we are in the middle of a pandemic, economic collapse, where our government has abandoned us. Where despite the homelessness crisis that's going on, and I'm gonna cover the story. The people that are already dying because of this now, and anyone who watched my channel, anyone who followed my tweets, I've been telling you guys since like September and October. I was making tweets like, guys, we got a homelessness crisis. The winter is coming up, and this homelessness crisis, they already said it's gonna be 2 times worse than the financial crisis of 2008. And you know, there was tons of people that were left homeless in that crisis, but now they said this one could be 2 times worse. I'm gonna cover that story here shortly as well. That was a new study that said it's gonna be worse. So then we got this winter, and we got all these people that are gonna go homeless. I was literally ringing the bells weeks ago on this issue, weeks ago. Dig up my old tweets from September, October. Like, bro, the winter's coming up. We got a massive homeless crisis coming up right now. And now there's already stories of people left and right. I'm already reading people dying. Like there's literally 2 homeless bodies that have been found in Kansas City last week because people are freezing to death. You got a lot of new homeless people who don't now survive the winter, and that's what we're seeing now. I saw a few stories. Like once again, I was just looking at Kansas City stories, but now I picked up a few stories I read in other cities as well. So this is happening, and it's gonna get worse. So we got all these crises going on, but people are trying to call people out on Twitter, trying to create leftist beef, trying to get clout, creating leftist beef. So I already laughed about. I'm like, whenever people try to get me involved, I always laugh at it. Like, dude, I don't give a fuck. Like when you guys act treating this shit like high school and middle school. That's what shit feels like to me, and that's one of the reasons I took a break. Like, dude, you guys are annoying. Like you guys are annoying more than anything. I'm just here to yell at the oligarchy and speak truth to power. See, they didn't know I was going live today. Don't fucking call me going live. But I'm like, bro, leftist discourse is really fucking dumb right now. It's literally just a clash of personalities and egos. Even people I like. It's just people calling each other out. People attacking each other. I'm like, bro, do y'all know what the fuck is going on right now? Like, this should be okay, I guess, or whatever. I guess it's normal Twitter stuff. I'm still relatively new to Twitter, despite everything. But I'm like, bro, do you guys know what's going on? And you guys spend your time calling out other leftists? Thank you for the subscription, Jim Maurice. We've been climbing. You guys know I'm at almost 1,200 followers on Twitch, which is pretty big. So I'm glad you guys are enjoying the stream. Once again, this is more of a chill live. I went for Meganator to jump in, and for Givenchy, you are supposed to be on the stream as well. I'm gonna peer pressure you to come on one of these days. Where Lucas at? Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that. Okay. I feel humble now. I feel humble. But now you say that, you gotta bring your ass on stream. Straight up. Y'all ain't doing nothing anyway. We need to bring you on and talk about North Korea, because I made my tweet today that's blowing up where I said America is the most propagandized country in the world. Change my mind. I dare you guys to change my mind on this. I know people are always saying China, North Korea, Russia. Those countries provide their people health care. At the end of the day. Dude, we got people that are broke with no health care that votes against getting them health care. What's more propagandized than that? We have 25% of the world's prison population. And you guys saying that other countries got human rights issues? You're probably right. But guess who has 25% of the fucking world's prison population? The fact that anyone not outraged about none of this shit is alone is proof that we're the most propagandized country. The fact that there's not nonstop protests every fucking day based on how corrupt our government is proof alone that we are the most propagandized country. I'm not defending no country. I don't stand in no fucking country. I hate all the countries. I hate all of them. Because all of them suck. But I hate people that push American exceptionalism, who got the nerve to criticize other fucking countries. You know how stupid you sound to me? You know how stupid you sound to me? When you want to criticize China, North Korea, and Russia? Or do they got cops that are killing black people with impunity? Breonna Taylor, black woman, shot in her fucking sleep by a cop, and then they let the cop go. And you guys want to talk about North Korea and China? Once again, I don't like any country, but you guys sound dumb to me when people say stuff like that to me. When people actually bring up other countries in defense of us, as a black guy, I'm like, you guys sound so stupid. I just want people to understand how dumb like the American exceptionalist like liberal sounds to me. On us. Our country is spying on us.
Something just came up in my timeline that I think we should talk about. It says here, Bernie Sanders has been talking to Biden about the next stimulus package, including an emergency universal health program, so that anyone can get medical treatment during the pandemic, whether they currently have insurance or not.
So that's breaking now?
Yeah, that's breaking right now.
Yeah, we can take a look. We can take a look at that. Let me get some of these comments. my overall point was, we have all this crazy stuff going on in our country. I don't understand the value at all at just fucking the nonstop high school bullshit I see all the time from some leftists. It's like, I always say liberals are deeply unserious people. Man, there are a lot of people on the left like that too. A lot of fucking people. So that's how, I'm gonna look at that story. But I also wanted to check out, because I do want to read the exact details of the Flint crisis. Thank you for, I just now getting that comment. Thank you for giving, Chi. This is my shirt. You guys know Lexi Benavidez made. The wonderful, the brilliant Lexi Benavidez. Nina Turner for Congress. Because I don't agree with them on everything, but we need more Cori Bush, Dr. Cornel West style people in Congress, and I think we should take all our shots. And I'm 100% supportive of Nina. What that tweet says here. Yeah, put stuff in the chat I can look at. This is the story that you were trying to share with me. Let's see if I got my scene popped up. I'm gonna close my DMs. I don't want no one seeing. I don't want anyone seeing none of that. So this is what they was talking about. Bernie Sanders has been talking to Biden about the next stimulus package, including a universal healthcare program, so anyone can get medical treatment during the pandemic, whether they have insurance or not. Yeah, that's what he was saying. What was Biden's response to that? It said Mr. Biden said last week that he nearly tapped Mr. Sanders to be his Laboratory Secretary, though he decided against it because he don't want to lose Sanders' seat. Sure, buddy. Sure. The question is, like, will Bernie actually be able to push Biden to the left, and would it actually matter? The reason why I said will it actually matter, because the margins in the Senate right now is so thin. You only need one blue dog Democrat to really tank the bill. So if you have Joe Manchin and you have all the other blue dog Democrats that goes against it, don't really matter what Bernie Sanders advocating for. And that was the summary I was reading earlier, because Bernie was talking about how he want to flex his power. The problem is, because the way they had a slim majority, they can easily override any Bernie agenda that he has. That's why him being the budget committee chairman. So that's the problem that we gonna run with blue dog Democrats and with the Republicans that are gonna fight and do everything possible to make sure they don't give Joe Biden and a Democrat-controlled government a victory. So yeah, there was a lot of Republicans that was talking in favor of a $2,000 check, but that because there was a Senate race and Donald Trump was still president. But under a Joe Biden presidency, based on what we've seen out of the Republican Party, I see them continuing to be obstructionists. So I don't see them getting that votes that easily. And then you still got to get past Feinstein. You still got to get past Manchin, Bob Menendez, a lot of these other Amy Klobuchar, or the other blue dog Dems that gonna stand our way. What else I'm missing in the chat? I envy me said, do you think 15 minimum wage is gonna change the country for the better? 15 would definitely fix things, but the fight for 15 is what, 12, 13 years ago?
It should be 20, 25
yeah.
now.
Yeah, 12, 13 years ago. It's an old movement. So any serious person who, like, cause 15 is like decent here, but the cost of living here is low, and I don't have any kids. So if you had kids, you're fucked. But if you're in the East Coast or the West Coast, New York, California, even an average city, that's a joke. Like the amount is a joke. So at like 12, 13 years ago, when the fight for 15 started, when people thought that was a crazy far left idea, that's when you're supposed to implement it. By now, it should be at least 25, 23, 25, somewhere around that range. And then I remember people saying Biden being pushed left on this issue. And Joe Biden essentially said, yeah, we will okay the $15 minimum wage. We'll do a slight increase until 2026. And people was getting impressed by that. I was like, what? Do you guys see what he actually said? He said by 2026. 15 is like barely, it's trash now. What do you think it's going to look like in 2026? I just want to say, this month I turned 30. So I won't be able to use this fact that much often. So I'm gonna use it as many times as I can until I turn 30. But capitalism crashed 2 times before I turned 30. I hope you guys realize that. If you guys think a slow incremental increase in the minimum wage by 2026 is gonna help maintain American families, once again, I just ask capitalists to be serious. That's all I ask. Because they mock socialists, they mock us as young kids who don't know how shit works. Meanwhile, I beg you guys, just be serious, please. How was slowly, incrementally increasing the minimum wage to $15 an hour in the middle of this pandemic, this crash? How are you supposed to maintain the quality of American life? Which haven't. Actually haven't. I ain't talked about the police yet. Maybe we start. You guys know I gotta talk about the police every episode. Maybe I'll do that after I read some of these comments. Anything you want to say, Sienna? I don't want to feel like you got to be quiet. I'm just like today is more of a chill. Like Meganator, where you at? I know you watching. Hold up, Meganator, you supposed to have been on. Forgive me, you supposed to be on too. I'm putting all y'all on the spot. But what? You got anything you want to add? Let me see. Before I get to the comments here. Or not?
Anything I want to add?
Well, I was just ranting.
About we also got to talk about the Snyder. Like, Snyder obviously is going to get away with it. Biden's probably going to pardon him or something. Probably.
Damn it, Jackie's in here.
Pardon.
See, I'm fucking up. I'm saying problematic stuff while Jackie's here. I should have known better.
She's gonna start the hashtag cancel Nick again.
Hashtag cancel Nick again. Jan Marie said, "What's crazy to me? I'm glad to see Jan Marie's in the house. It's crazy to me that government love the healthcare commissions companies so much. Why not pay everyone's premiums? No bills come to us. They all go to the government. Win-win." So I think you talk about the merits of Medicare for all, which is literally the most obvious conclusion anyone with a brain can come to. All the merits of Medicare for all: boosting jobs, boosting wages, boosting the economy, saves the average American family money. It's a deeply progressive plan because anyone who makes $30,000 or less, which is the vast majority of the working class now, about 50-60% of the working class make $30,000 or less. And then you look at the African American community, it's like much over half make $30,000 less. So people always look at me like I'm crazy when I say Medicare for all is the most pro-black policy you can implement, period. The most pro-black. Because look at income levels. Black families make $30,000 or less. It's just a fact. So we won't be paying that much into Medicare for all because we don't pay none in Bernie Sanders' plan. And then you start paying when you hit the $40,000 a year mark. Not that much, but then it slowly goes up. So this system makes it so that the people who need healthcare the most, you save the most fucking money. This is how I flip people when I canvassed with them, by the way. When I was canvassing for Bernie Sanders, and when I canvassed for myself one day, or when I canvass for Nia Turner, if I can. This is how you explain it to people. You will flip literally everyone you talk to because there's literally no normal person who will hear this shit who will be like, I don't like the idea. Actually, I know it's hard, but if you can, just explain how most families won't be paying more on Medicare for all. Then you take the public premium versus the private tax of premium, and that saves the average American family money. Then you add the fact that you save 68,000 lives per year to the point where this is such an easy slam dunk position. If you don't support Medicare for all, I don't trust you. I can't trust you on almost any other issue. I can't trust your judgment on pretty much any issue if you don't support Medicare for all. That's why I'm hard like on any Democrat who don't support Medicare. People ask me, why are you hard on Ossoff? Are you mad Ossoff won? I don't give a fuck if he won. I didn't care about the race. I just like to shit on anyone who's not for Medicare for all. Because I still don't trust them. Why would I trust anyone who don't support Medicare for all? Which there's something wrong with you if you can't reach that conclusion. There's something I can't trust. That alone hurt the chances for a lot of people who was running this race. That's why Bernie Sanders was by far the number one. But the fact that no one could get on board Medicare for all, I don't even consider anyone else. Don't even want to consider anyone else. Because if you look at any other healthcare plan, you're missing the benefits that I just laid out. So you have some people like, well, Yang don't support Medicare for all, but he supports this. Tosi don't support Medicare for all, but she supports this. Like, dude, that's bullshit because that you literally missing a lot of the benefits that I'm just laying out. So if you don't get on the comments I've been missing. Nick says niggas turn 30. What? Yep. I'm old. I got a lot of battle scars. Forgive me, she said birthday sex. COVID is a massive cop block. That's all I'll say. Just wait until the crash. It will get much worse this summer. That's what Jackie said. That what we've been predicting for a long time. And a lot of capitalist bootlickers, they always say, well, only reason the system is crashed right now is because of COVID-19. That's the only reason why our system is crashing right now. Is it? Because things was really, really, really bad before COVID-19. And secondly, the merits of an economic system is how you can handle change. So you telling me, capitalists, that we never gonna have a pandemic, which happens all the time? Is that what you're saying? So this system that you held as amazing, as great, this amazing system has no fail-safe, and no for society breakdown like this for a pandemic. Because under a capitalist system, like Richard Wolff expertly lays out, there is no profit motive. There's no profit incentive for preparing for a pandemic. So what the military does, the reason why military contractors make money, because the government pays them up front to stockpile weapons. Because they know they may not use it immediately. Because if there wasn't that government middleman, no one would be buying these weapons just to not use them. So the government take the role of that, right? The government literally could do that with any other industry, but they choose not to. They choose not to. Capitalism, you can literally have a stockpile of masks and all the stuff that we were short on, but there's no profit motive of doing that. There's no profit motive of having people stay home and locking down so we can actually get rid of the pandemic in the short term. There's no profit motive for doing that. Meanwhile, you have other countries who pay people to stay home, give them the rifle $2,000 a month. That's how you control the spread. That's why we did among the worst, which I laughed at. I remember we covered this before, and I laughed at the Western propaganda that we are constantly under. That's why I made my tweet today when I said we are the most propagandized people. We are the most propagandized people because before COVID hit, there was a study that came out, a study that listed the countries that was the most prepared to handle a pandemic. And they were colored in like yellow, and the countries that are worse off, they are colored in red. And then now after the pandemic, we looked back at that map. It's funny, all the countries like Cuba, all the so-called socialist countries that was marked the worst, they actually handled the pandemic the best. A lot of the Asian countries, they said they wouldn't handle it that well. They actually handled it the best. Meanwhile, a lot of the countries that the Western propaganda said will handle it well, like the UK and US, some of the worst. So that's the kind of propaganda that we live under. Let's see. Let me get the rest of these comments here. Since Nick is nearly 30, I just want to remind you of everyone this moment. Nick ain't... No, we're not... Well, no one will ever forgive me for that young Nancy Pelosi tweet, huh?
Nope.
Nick, you force me to do whatever you want. You guys are wilding in the chat right now. You guys are cracking me up. Hey, that Lucas, what's up? Finally, bro. You need to bring your ass on the stream. Actually, I haven't seen you the Discord. That's why. My boy Lucas in the house. I'm trying to get to some of the comments. I missed so many of these. Maybe I was saying I'm gonna send Lucas the Discord link. That's my homie. If y'all don't know, forgive me. You know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna tweet my link out again. I need to. I haven't tweeted it out since I started, so that's probably. I need to do a better job of advertising. I already said. I already said that's what I need to do, so that's what I'm gonna do. I didn't really announce this because this was spontaneous. It'd be much easier if I have a schedule, and get that set up. So let me tweet this out again. And I need Lucas, Jackie, Forgivenchi. We on ASAP. We about 30 minutes in. I wasn't planning on doing that long today. Bring one of y'all on. I was about to tweet that out one more time. And now I'm gonna see. We can see what we're gonna miss. We can see what we missed. Oh yeah, damn that tweet blown up. I want to go over this too, because I don't know why everyone. I'm glad I found this. I'm glad I'm actually looking at my Twitter here, because I want to talk about Biden and the fact that he's literally about to do it again. Like, Joe Biden looked at this situation and he bragged about writing the Patriot Act before. And he said, fuck it, I'll do it again. He said, fuck it, I'll do it again. I'll tweet that out. I'm talking about this. I just had to tweet this out a few times. Then we can do the story about Biden and his him pushing that Patriot Act like he did before. Then I'll get to some of you guys' questions. I know I'm really behind on that, so I'll get to you guys' questions really soon. Oh Jesus! Yeah, that's literally the image I was looking at. That's literally the image I was looking for. This one right here. Like, Biden was like, I wrote Patriot Act, what became the Patriot Act. He like, fuck it, I do it again. I fucking do it again. And I remember when there was a lot of discussion about who was the lesser of two evils. Wait, hold up. Before I get into this, why am I getting canceled? I see Meg and Jackie stirring the pot again. What are we doing? What's happening here? What I do? I can't get mad at me because I'm literally begging y'all to come on my show right now, and y'all ain't listening to me. I knew it was gonna happen. I knew the day Forgivenchi was gonna turn on me, and it happened now. But one of the arguments I was making, I'm like, how are you guys gonna ignore Joe Biden's role in the Patriot Act when you guys are discussing the lesser of two evils? He literally bragged about. This is the article here. Biden has repeatedly claimed that a bill he wrote in 1994 was essentially the same as the 2001 Patriot Act. And this story came out in 2015. And can you imagine if this is actually how things was? Because in this article that was written in 2015, it said if Vice President Joe Biden decides to enter the race for president, his past positions, including his trade bills, the Iraq War, the repeal of Glass-Steagall, the changes to welfare, that's going to draw an ire of the party's liberal base. They wrote this in 2015 in preparation of him when he was when it was rumors of him running against Hillary. Could you imagine? Do you see the difference? 5 years make? They were like, yeah, how did Joe Biden gonna run in this party when he has this horrific record? Like back then, they were like, there's no way. But now Bernie Sanders came in and know they had to do everything they can to stop Bernie Sanders and stop the movement from moving to the left, so they had to pivot hard to the right. They normalized Biden's record. They normalized Biden's degeneracy because Joe Biden ran multiple times. You guys remember when Joe Biden ran the first time and he was forced to drop out? Because that when the media did a half-assed job of covering politicians, and they called him out for being a liar, a plagiarist. He was forced to drop out. Now Joe Biden could be on the campaign trail, lie about the fact that he was in part of the civil rights movement, lie about the fact that he was arrested with Nelson Mandela, lie about the fact that he supported the Iraq War. He can literally lie about his entire record, and media like, yeah, we know Joe Biden's just a good candidate because he's just an honest guy. He's an honest guy. That's the difference. And you had people who disagree with me that America is not the most propagandized country. How does that make sense? Our media convinced liberals that Joe Biden is an honest guy. They are convinced that he's honest Joe. He's been a serial liar his entire life. His entire career. Every move he make is mired with lies. You guys know that Joe Biden smeared and ruined a guy's life? He ruined a guy's life. He smeared a guy as a drunk driver who killed his kids. He killed his family. But what actually happened is his wife stared on the other side of the road. It wasn't the other guy's fault. And the guy actually got out of the car and tried to save his family. But Joe Biden smeared that guy and said he was a drunk driver. Which, as a story that was written by his late fiance said, it really ruined his life. It ruined the credibility. They literally sent out a cease and desist letter to Joe Biden, begging him stop lying about what happened. Joe Biden said, nope, I'm good. I'm going to still keep saying that. Let's see if I can find the article. So you got to think I'm lying about this? This is the guy that they prop up, and the guy that I still have a hard time forgiving him. The guy Bernie Sanders said was decent. Everyone melting down for good reason at the death of Brandon Bernard. But meanwhile, this guy, he bragged on the Senate floor about making the death penalty so accessible. And everyone know how racist the death penalty is. He's bragging about that. He said, I made everything a death penalty up to jaywalking. He bragging about that on the Senate floor. I played it on my show before. And you gotta say that guy is decent? I'm not mad at people who voted for Joe Biden. I just hate the progressive movement strategy after Bernie Sanders lost. It made no sense to me. And that was one of them. Why call a guy who's not fucking decent? Why we got nothing in exchange for our dime support? Like not even that. We helped these people win. The progressive base helped them win. We helped them win the Senate in Georgia. That because of young grassroots organizers. Young organizers are the reason why that happened. And who did the youth support overwhelmingly in the primary? 70% under 50. Bernie Sanders and the progressive base. So these victories that Democrats are getting now, they were literally because of the progressive base. And what are they doing? Despite AOC and the squad loyalty to the Democratic Party, they're getting snubbed on committee assignments. They're constantly getting sniped at and attacked. Constantly undermined. That's what we get. That's what the progressive leaders get for the loyalty. No powerful cabinet positions. Neera Tanden get a fucking cabinet position. The smear merchant, the person who smeared Bernie Sanders for the last 6 years. in the most vicious way, get a cabinet position. That's how they thank you guys for voting for Joe Biden. That's what they get. That's how they thank you guys for door knocking for Warnock and Ossoff. I literally seen leftist group like, yeah, we organizing door knockings for candidates who don't believe in Medicare for all. And I'm like, in any sane universe, the Democrats will fucking owe us. They will owe the movement. But what they do actually though? What they actually do? They do nothing but fucking stun on us. They literally, every quote, every move they make is a spin the base of the progressive base. Everything they do. Let's see, what am I missing here? Des Max says you got a Twitch notification. Thank you guys. Seeing the squad is coming together nicely right now. Thank you for the follow. Hope you guys enjoying. Follow, subscribe. I'm just going on random rants here today. Just getting into a little bit of my frustration with the progressive leadership that we have right now. Some people in reply to your propaganda tweet don't understand that some North Korean fight coups in the streets. They're not as submissive as we think. Yeah, I tagged Forgiving Chat. You guys seen the Twitch trial. I seen a lot of people talk shit about North Korea, and there was one person who he said a lie that I remember. Even I believe with him. There was a lie that a lot of people in North Korea believe that their leaders don't poop and stuff like that. Like, bro, you got by repeating stuff like that, you gotta just prove my point. My point was that Americans are the most propagandized people, and your guys' response to that is to literally believe anything that you're told about other governments. Like, you guys literally believe anything. Like, I used to make that mistake as well when I was a little. Like, anything I used to hear about other people's country, I'd be like, oh, you know, they fucking tell their people that their person's a god. Like, I just repeat shit that made no sense. And then I actually learned later, like, oh, actually that wasn't true. And I remember when I was doing my re-education, as I call it, it was like, most of the people on the left, our re-education, literally just unlearning everything that we are taught as bullshit. And people literally that replying to that tweet they don't even know how propagandized they are. Even the people who agree with me mostly, they were like, yeah, I agree with you, but I think there are other countries that are more propagandized than us. Now I'm like, how? There are other countries that are under propaganda. All countries implement propaganda. But literally, dictators all across the country will literally be in shock and awe of the obedience of our media class to our ruling class. How they're willing to just repeat everything they're saying uncritically. We had Russiagate go on, where literally it was an entire media class just repeating everything Democrats say. Everything that came out of the secret intelligence communities were being repeated uncritically. And how is that not worse than state media and propaganda? Because I've seen state media in other countries where they grill politicians. Are you kidding me? They grill other politicians in other countries. And compared to where our media is nothing compared to how media in like Europe treat their politicians. It's literally they hold their hands. Even what they would consider a hard interview is actually fucking weak compared to what we would ask them. Bro, give me 5 minutes to ask Joe Biden some questions and watch me end his entire career. Give me 5. I always tell you guys all the questions I was asking. I'll ask them. Throughout the course of the campaign, I was being driven crazy. Why no one asking them about the homelessness crisis? Where you're planning to do anything about the homelessness crisis? No one was asking about the $2,000 check throughout the course of the campaign. It wasn't even a discussion then. They was avoiding COVID relief discussion throughout the entire time of the debates. I'll ask some questions about why you support the coup in Venezuela. Like, why don't you get asked those questions? Why you don't get asked? Why he's not asked about his support of ICE? Well, I talk about on my show all the time. Like, you got ICE people who literally lie in their reports. They forge documents. They forge signatures, and they was caught doing this. And then when they got caught doing it, there was nobody that held them accountable. There was no one to hold the people who were supposed to hold them accountable. Like, the ICE and the DHS system is a mess. It's literally just government corruption and authoritarianism. It's an unbelievably unorganized system. Like ICE literally commits human rights violations. They do an investigation to the human rights violation, and then the people forge documents and they forge signatures, and they literally they report on this stuff. This has been reported in like mainstream media. They do stuff like this. So my question though, Joe Biden, knowing that they can't hold themselves accountable, what exactly will be the difference in your ICE and Trump's ICE? How do you stop ICE from having human rights violations like they have now, and your administration compared to what they did in Trump? The answer is he can't. That's why ICE had a lot of these human rights violations that started under Obama and Biden in the first place. The forced hysterectomy stories that started in 2014. A lot of these ICE human rights violations, kids and cages, that started under Obama. Because you can't. It's a racist institution that attracts the worst of society. Because who wants to be an ICE agent? We all know it's the MAGA people. The MAGA people who literally feel like they fight in a holy war against other people. Like they get the craziest people to be the agents, and you think they're gonna follow your liberal rules? What? And they don't. That's why you constantly hear stories of soldiers committing war crimes under Democratic presidents. That's why you hear human rights violations happen under Democratic presidents. That's why Black Lives Matter started under Democratic presidents. Because when you look at the actual institutions and the evils that you guys claim you guys want to fight against, they both complicit in that. Because I will never ever apologize and pretend Trump isn't what he is. I think a lot of leftists are weak on Trump. Trump is just another administration of George Bush. If you hate George Bush but you're weak on Trump, you're being a fucking fool. Trump has been awful. Just another horrific human rights violation Republican administration. Pushing trickle-down economics, destroying the economy. Just another Republican administration. But if you really believe there's an actual structural difference in how his administration will be ran versus someone who agrees with him, who is attacking him on the right on law enforcement, who say he want to fund cops more than Joe Biden, there's not going to be... There's that core permanent state belief that our system has is not going to change. Do you think you're going to have a guy who built and propped up this system his entire career to be an agent for change? Why do you think he's walking back all these promises? Why he say he's going to cut student loan debt when he's on the campaign trail, but then as soon as he wins, he say, "Oh, naturally we're not going to do that." He's saying he's going to revert Trump immigration policies. There we go. I'm back. So let me see what kind of the idea, because that's why Republicans didn't fuck with Trump. Trump straight up said, he's like, "Bro, I'll run third party if I cheat against me. I swear to God. I swear to God." And guess what? They couldn't do that shit no more. They couldn't risk it. So at least have that threat of that, right? You're in, and I'll talk to forgive. And then what I hear me say, he said a lot of people are obsessed with painting Asians as weird and extremely foreign. And I'll forgive she was telling me a lot of people who just randomly believe like propaganda about South Asians is mostly just because there's an instinct for Americans, they just want to believe other people are just fucking weird and they are extreme. They believe Africa is like full of huts and shit. They're mostly based on subtle racism they don't even know they even have. So that is a good point. Yeah, he said, "I definitely noticed that people love making up bizarre lies about Asian people specifically." Like I say, forgiving she said nailing it. Like I said, I want to bring you on so you can talk about it, but I ain't going to force you. I'm not going to force you, but you're lucky I don't. Because I like talking to other leftists a different perspective. Well, I said, I tell people, it's not, watch your favorites. I'm not tearing down white leftists. I like a lot of them, but watch black leftists. Listen to Hispanic leftists. Listen to Indian leftists. Listen to fill in the blank. Not consider me cool. Like I said, we see. I'm out. Actually, you guys know I can go all day, but I said I was gonna do an hour, but I can maybe push that to an hour and a half. K31K. Hillary left her entire computer unprotected and accessible for 2 months, and here we all worry about Russia. That was the point I was making. Who I think it was Kayla. She one of my favorite Twitter accounts. Kayla, on Twitter, she was like So there's like no like real hard evidence that Russia did anything, right? I'm like literally explaining because there's like, if you actually pay attention to what they did, it's literally just online propaganda, which every country, they're like, oh, Facebook, how much that is on this election on Facebook as well. Are you kidding me? And then what the conspiracy theorists, what they say is that Russia hacked the DNC servers, which there's never been evidence of that. In fact, there have been plenty of people that say there's literally no way that's possible. A lot of experts, I won't, like there was I'm blanking on his name, but there are a lot of people that are looking at it like there's no way there was any foreign hacking into that. So not only do they not have evidence of that, it's like it just doesn't make sense on face value. There's never been a correlation. That was even reported. It's even reported. This kind of stuff is even reported in Washington Post. If you read these articles and go down, like there's actually no evidence, like hard evidence of these hacking happens. So what they're actually being accused of is what the U.S. and what other countries do all the time, putting online propaganda out there. That's it. And if you look at the propaganda, it's actually really weak, ineffective propaganda. And then they said, and once again, I break this down on my stream all the time, why the idea that Trump is a Putin puppet is laughable if you actually look at his foreign policy. And some of the liberals that push Russiagate, they never ever acknowledge that. Ever. Like, they will never acknowledge the fact that a new Cold War started because he pulled out a nuclear arms treaty. The doomsday clock actually got worse since then. They armed Ukrainian rebels that Barack Obama didn't do. That he literally approved and launched CIA attacks into Russian financial infrastructure. The fact that he literally opposed Putin openly on foreign policy, like the fact he wanted to get the Venezuela coup done. Like, this is a very simple observation you can make on why it doesn't make any sense. Listen, let me get some of these before they continue to get deleted. It's the people in those positions. They have no intentions of getting rid of this unconstitutional, illegal organization. I was just like, once again, that would piss me off about liberals. They'll point out the argument, they'll point out the issue, but then they don't support the solution to the issue. So I'm like, okay, so are you being complicit with this? Is like you see with the Capitol riots and the insurrection, the police complicity with that. You have liberals pointing out like, whoa, why are cops helping the white supremacists and letting them in? Why are they so soft on right wing protests? But then I'm like, okay, so that just shows that they're not effective, right? They're like, well, we still got to fund them more money though. I'm like, what's wrong with you guys? How you guys act like you guys agree with us on the substance, but then you guys purposely reach the wrong conclusion. It doesn't make sense. And just like ICE, they see all the human rights violations going on at ICE. They will say we got to do everything we can to get rid of Trump because of ICE. But then they are completely okay with not abolishing it. Continue to fund it more. That what Nancy Pelosi and them approved. Under Trump's budgets, by the way, that they voted for. More funding for DHS would mean more funding for ICE. Democrats are complicit with the funding of ICE. And then they want to say, oh, well, Democrats are the answer. I wish we had an answer. I wish we had an opposition party. We tried to make an opposition party. But then they say, oh, you just salty because Bernie lost. I'm like, yeah, that's the point. Like, me being salty because Bernie lost is literally the fucking point. Because why am I salty? Because I'm salty because we're essentially screwed. Because we don't have an opposition party now. You already have Joe Biden saying we need Republicans to be strong. I'm not gonna do anything to embarrass Senate Republicans. That's by design, because then Republicans go all out, crank the Overton window to the right. Democrats keep it there. Republicans win again, crank it more to the right. Biden literally never opposed Trump on any real policy. I was asking people like, bro, where's the policy? What are the policy differences, guys? I want to hear it. And all the arguments they were making, all stuff he blankly flopped on. And I'm like, bro, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. We got to vote Biden because ICE. At what point did he say he's going to do anything to fix the problems with ICE? Making this, I'm on my way. See, now you guys about to come on now. It's cool. You guys are welcome. You guys can carry. Desmond said, "How many executive orders do you think he actually reversed?" My guess is 0. Biden already hinted the fact that he hated using executive authority, and that's just an excuse for him to keep the Overton window to the right. By the way, you're not against it. If it actually comes down to it, he 100% uses his authority to do his agenda, which is promote the interests of credit card companies and promote more war. Why Jackie saying deal with it? All right, see, I'm behind the concept. I need to talk about. Cause I be getting to y'all be talking shit, but I be missing it while it happening. Cause I be ranting too much. Lucas Sound coming on soon. That was like a clean 10 minutes ago, bro. Do you get my Discord invite? I put it in the chat. Well, our chat, you know what I mean. Let's see, what this story Jay put. I see it's New York Times, so I probably won't be able to read it. Listen, I didn't really have a show planned today, but I'm already an hour in. And I probably didn't cover everything I wanted to cover. I'm gonna bring my comrades on. Maybe they can they might have something to say. So this is the New York Times article. Atop the powerful budget committee at last, Bernie wants to go big. I'm very interested in seeing how Bernie's gonna fight the Biden administration, because I remember I was making my I wouldn't say it was a wish, but it was something I wanted to see happen. And I said it on stream a few times. I said I wanted it. All the time I criticize Bernie and I criticize the squad, it's out a place of I want them to do better, right? So I said I wanted to see Bernie Sanders come out on the midst of a Joe Biden administration be his number one enemy. I don't want to see him apologizing for him. I don't want to see him doing any propaganda. I'm like, okay, I get it. You wanted to defeat Trump, so you didn't want to hurt him. But now that Trump is out of the way, now that Joe Biden's president, I want to see you go guns blazing at Biden. The level in which I'm talking about, I want Bernie to be leading the charge at Biden if he commits a war crime. That sounds delusional. It is delusional because you won't do that. But that kind of stuff you can do that could redeem the way you held a whole water for Biden for the last few months, in my opinion. But now that he got this powerful budget share position, I'm very interested in see what he's going to do to actually counter the narrative that will be coming out Joe Biden and his economic advisor Larry Summers, who argued passionately against a $2,000 relief check, by the way. And Joe Biden, I covered it on my show. He was the reason why Democrats were so emboldened to negotiate the stimulus down. He gave them permission to do that. So I'm gonna be very interested to see how Biden's gonna actually be the real opposition against. How Bernie's gonna be opposition against Joe Biden. I want to see him. I want him to be the guy that a lot of people thought he was. I know a lot of people are disappointed with how he kind of holding water for Democrats, which he is. But I want to see him. I would love to see Bernie Sanders be the number one enemy of the Democratic Party. But I want to hold my breath. Like I'm telling you, this is why I want to see him. I'm not trying to be hard on our politicians for no reason. But I don't feel like I'm unreasonable in my request. When I say I want you to vote against Nancy Pelosi, one of the most corrupt people in the world, I don't think I'm being unreasonable when I say that. What's going on in Discord? Let's see. I don't even look at my Discord. I see Meg is in here. What's up, Meg?
What's
Finally. It took you like 30 minutes. I've been trying to rant for 50 minutes. I think I pulled it off kind of. Got a little incoherent at the end.
If you're watching the chat, we're telling you like, oh my god, we're canceling Nick because he's trying to rush Megan through her birthday dinner.
I know. I saw. Oh, it's your birthday dinner. Nice. Happy
Yes.
birthday.
Hello.
I didn't know
Thank
that.
you.
Happy birthday. Nice. So this is your birthday stream now.
Yes.
I hope you know that now. Nice.
I am taking over. It is now my stream.
You guys heard her. This is the Meganator stream now. So we
There you
are
go.
birthday month comrades. Because I turned 30, January 30th. Very poetic, isn't it? So We are birthday comrades.
How old are you gonna be?
Huh?
How old are you gonna be?
Probably 30.
Oh, so your champagne year.
Yep. Yep. Hoping that I've been convinced myself that 30 is gonna be like my prime decade, like 30 the new 20. Because and people have been saying this before, like under capitalism, the 20s fucking suck. Like in 20s is just you been for most people, the 20s is you fucking grinding, being poor, and then people get in the 30s and they realize, oh shit, actually 30s is your best decade because you actually get established.
Hell yeah.
Is that true?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's so true for our generation, considering even in the 30s, shit still sucks, considering the economy sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't
But, so, I mean, we definitely have been stalled in our development. Let's be real. Like, millennials have had a shit show. The Zoomers...
Family? What is that?
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
And things are going to get worse.
Our 30s are now our 20s.
Yep, exactly.
When most people are usually going through these types of things in their 20s, we're going through them in our 30s. So our 30s are our 20s.
Yeah, so yeah, we pretty much who are, because I remember my peak. Those are my funnest years. That back when I was coaching, I was in college. Girls was everywhere. It was just fun. I feel bad for the 18 to 20-year-olds right now. Like the people they're missing that because of the lockdowns and because of COVID-19 and because people's horrible response to COVID-19 and the fact that we can't get our shit together. Like this is the kind of stuff that I'm like, man, I feel bad for them because they're missing this whole part of life that I still got fond memories of.
Yeah, exactly. Like I probably hit my stride probably when I turned 25, and then I kind of stalled again after I graduated from grad school last year because it was just hard to find a job right out of grad school.
Yeah.
So now I'm just kind of trying. It takes time. I don't know how bad it's gonna be for years.
Yeah, dude, God knows what it's gonna look like in 2 years. Ivy said.
You can tell me the truth.
Huh? No, I was talking about Ivy. I talking about Ivy comment. I think he was talking.
Oh yeah, she's young.
Yeah. I don't know how. I always assume everyone on Twitter is younger than they are, and I hear their age like, God, dang. I think Twitter, left Twitter is when I discovered. I was like, man, I might have a MILF fetish. I don't know. I should. Cause I didn't know she was that old. I didn't know she was that old.
Right? I was shocked when I found out how old Jackie was. Like, I thought Jackie was way younger than she is.
Yeah, Jackie.
I was shocked.
That's how I am with literally.
Jackie, I love you.
If I say I ain't saying anything, cause I ain't gonna have Jackie go off on me. But I'm not having Jackie go off on me.
In here. In fact, I'm not sure if she's. I know she created a birthday discount code for me to get my Force the Vote. She has amazing Force the Vote mugs, so if you can go to her store.
Whose store are you talking about?
Jackie designed a really beautiful Force the Vote mug. Let me see if I can get the link. It's in my DMs. Go to Jackie's store and support Jackie.
Yeah, we gotta put that in the chat.
Put the link in.
Yeah, put that in the chat. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad because my family usually ages pretty well, so I think I'm following in their footsteps. So far, I feel like I look much younger when I'm shaving down. So I feel old right now because usually when I dress up, shave up, I feel I look younger. But I grew this beard so I can have that kind of old man look because I almost can't wait till this shit get gray. Like once this get gray, bro, I'm 100% rocking the full gray beard, and I want to be that old man in his rocking chair telling the kids how we dethrone and destroy capitalism. Wouldn't that be dope?
I fun.
I don't want to be the fucking generation like the generation
That
now.
would be.
Boomers, they look at us and like fucking suck it up. I know we left shit off worse than we had it, but suck it up.
Oh my god. Or be Joe Biden like, I have no empathy for millennials.
Yeah, that's Joe Biden. That's their guy.
None whatsoever. Come on, man.
That's their guy.
Oh.
I don't want to be the.
It's like, Joe Biden, go fuck yourself.
Well, hold up. Sorry guys, but I'm. You gotta know I'm a kind of nerd at heart. You guys don't see on timeline. I see GTA 6 trading. Wait, who came in and messed my scene up? Oh, that's Jackie.
Jackie! Hey! Are you muted?
Me?
I can hear her now.
There you are. Hey!
Hi! Happy birthday!
Thank you!
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Birthday stream.
Nick trying to rush me through my dinner.
I know, right?
I didn't know it was your. To be fair to me, I did not know it was your birthday. To be fair. So you guys always trying to
I told you like 2 weeks ago that we were close.
Oh,
Told you like 2 weeks ago, bro. Don't even play that.
Oh my god, come on.
Yep.
You don't want me to feel bad. Wait, hold on. This GTA 6. Missy, I can't be seeing this stuff on stream, man. I can't be seeing this on stream. So, I see GTA 6 is trending.
Cancel Nick.
I feel like Nick's goal for 2021 is to be canceled every single stream.
It's gonna happen.
That I'm on.
It's gonna happen. Like, if I'm so lucky that a lot of my haters don't bother to hate watch me on here, or I'll be screwed. I'll be screwed. Cause Jackie definitely got me canceled a few times already.
Correction, you got yourself canceled. I was just there to witness it.
There you go. Yeah. You take responsibility for your actions, Nick.
Right? Blaming stuff on black women. I see you.
I'm not blaming on black women, and I don't take responsibility. That's not what we do out here.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
So,
speaking of taking responsibility,
did
you guys see that Pramila Jayapal got COVID because Republicans refused to wear masks?
Shit.
During the 6th? We still don't know what the hell to call the 6th because, like, it wasn't really a siege. It wasn't really a coup. They had no plan. They were just kind of...
They weren't calling this different stuff.
...and being assholes. So, like, what do you even call that?
I don't know, man, but I'm kind of tired of people calling it a coup because it's not a coup. That's all I know it's not.
It wasn't a coup. First of all, I don't think people realize the definition of a coup. Like, the military has to be involved.
Yeah, exactly.
This was just a bunch of idiots walking into the Capitol. That's not a coup.
You can call it a protest.
It wasn't even a protest. They didn't have... They literally just were like, hey, Trump told us to go to the Capitol. He gave us permission. And they were like, all right, let's do it. And, like, that's it. They had no plan, no agenda.
Yeah, I mean,
they just walked in.
I know people to get mad because,
it's basically just like an assault on the Capitol.
Exactly. Yeah, there we go. We'll call it an assault on the Capitol. That's all it really was.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know what I saw when I was talking about how leftist discourse is whack. Because I saw it kind of funny because I'm like, yeah, it was kind of a big deal, it was kind of funny. But I did notice that there was a lot of white progressives that were pearl clutching really hard at this and trying to tone like I saw like all the black leftists and like people of color, like there were a lot of people that were seriously concerned about this, but we were more likely to crack a joke about while everyone was like, oh, you guys are joking about fascism. They usually am I the only one to know that like the white progressives getting mad at, and mostly it was like all the black leftists, we were like, this shit is funny because this shit is like just another day to us. Like fascism is another day to us. So we were looking at this as I was looking at it because they wouldn't know I got dark humor, and a lot of people got mad at me because I said I was joking. I was like, it's kind of funny how Trump supporters are more down for a revolution than the progressives was because they voted for Joe Biden. That being punchline. So many people like that tweet blew up, but so many people got mad. I'm like, dude, fuck, I don't give a fuck. Go write your diary about it. I don't care. Like the people who get mad about it.
Shit for that tweet.
Yeah, people who get mad. Like I literally was noticing as a trend. Like people who get mad was like white people like, you guys are apologizing for Nazis, and then meanwhile the black people were like, "Ah, that's funny, nigga, that's funny." Like that's something I know. Like, bro, you niggas, y'all are whack.
Funny?
Like y'all are whack,
like, how
bro.
is it not funny? So, like the people who were like, okay, here's the thing. I get it. People died, and it's never funny when people died, but also it kind of is when someone is trampled to death and they literally had a flag that says "Don't trample on me." Come on, man.
That's why I don't understand. Like, people were saying, I apologize for Nazi, but I'm like, wasn't one the person that died? Like, I didn't know that much about it, so I wasn't like pouncing on people. But now, like, wasn't the people that died part of the coup that you guys said the word? Like, you guys say that it's a coup, but you guys know the penalty for coups is supposed to be death, right? So why? Like, I don't know why y'all supposed to be shocked about this. Like, do you guys acknowledge it as the worst thing ever or not? Like, if it was as bad as you guys say, you guys shouldn't be as shocked that people died, right? You guys know what I'm saying? So my whole point, I was like, bro, I'm not here for fucking followers. I got dark sense of humor. If you guys don't like it, fucking pound sand. But most of the homies like it. But I just noticed there's always these bad faith pearl clutchers, and I'm like, I don't feed into your bullshit. I don't feed into that, because mostly the people who was lecturing people of color for not taking it seriously enough. Like, bitch, we see this shit every day in our life. This is like what you guys are seeing is the police occupying our neighborhoods. Like, this like, I don't know nobody, and we talked about this on our show before. I don't know no one who's seen police at our schools and like, I feel safe. Like, that's it. I ask people, like, it was literally a cause of increasing anxiety. Cops being around. Like, no one see a cop like, no, thank God the officer is there. No. Like, this kind of tension we feel all the time. This amount of fear that white people are starting to feel now has been present in the black community ever since the civil rights movement. Like, if you don't feel it, congrats on being the black liberal that Malcolm X and W.B. Du Bois talked about and warned us about. But this is what I've seen in our community. This is what we feel all the time. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, I don't care. I said what I said. Because I saw a picture of that dude who was at. He was literally standing on the house floor. And I was like, dude, that's just fucking funny. People got mad. I was like, dude, you guys gotta say that's fucking funny. They literally got a picture of himself on the Capitol. I'm like, dude, because how you let that happen? Because now, like, I was gonna do a story. I'll maybe next live when I have it more organized. Because now there's a lot of stories. There's literally off-duty cops that was there that was helping coordinate with the protesters. And there's literally a former military officer that under investigation right now because of that, right? So I'm seeing that, and I'm like, okay, so how I can't clutch my pearl because this is just almost hilarious how corrupt of a state we are. Like, we are a joke. So I get the people who are like super patriotic, who still thinks America is a great country, and who are the people who are like, this is not us. You know, the centrists, the people who are like, this is not us. Yeah. Those people, I get why you're upset with this, but people who look at that and be like, dude, you're full of shit. This is definitely us. We're the people who are more likely to make a dark humor joke at it. That's just something I noticed. Hopefully, I'm not off.
Honestly, I was more pissed off at the whole "this is not us" than I was like, because I don't like. Let's face it, it really was a black thing to laugh at this shit. Because we're like,
yeah, Black Twitter literally was all laughing at it. I remember now thinking about it. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but sorry, now you brought it up. I remember Black Twitter was literally trending because it was going through all the memes that black people was laughing at. Because it was like, bitch, y'all literally tripping over this. Like, this is not something that we always talk about. But sorry, Jack, go ahead. But I remember I saw that trending. That was absolutely true.
Yeah, so it was funny to us until white people would hop up and be like, this is not us. Bitch, what you think we are? This is us light shit.
Right, this is us like
paid any attention to literally any of U.S. history. This is exactly who the fuck we are.
The meme Johnny Grass, man. I want to find it. I wish I could find it. You guys see the meme he made? Where I don't want to spoil it, but the one Johnny it blew up. It got hella likes. Where it had the dog. It was the dog in the room on fire meme when it was like the room was on fire for 100 years. I don't want to ruin it, but that was the best meme that came out of the whole event because they were literally mocking the whole idea. They were like, this is not us. Like, bitch, we had 100 years of violent racism, and you guys are talking about this is not us. This is exactly who we are.
100? Did you say 100?
Hundreds, yeah, hundreds with S, multiple hundreds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to misrepresent the meme. I want to find it. It'd be hard for me to find the meme. I don't got to save it anywhere.
There has been more racial violence in this country than there has been years of this country. This country was literally created through racist capitalism. On the backs of Native Americans, blacks, And even Asians, because they use the Chinese to make the railroad system. So it's just all over shitty. And that's literally the foundation of this nation.
If we broke down the violence of this country, it would be a multi-hour, multi-series spanning days and days and months going over the violence of our country. And they saying it's not us. Like, that's why I don't like, because I feel like that shit is not, that shit can't be on accident. Like, it has to be willful propaganda that they're putting. I can't believe that they really believe that shit. I really can't.
I love when Jon Favreau got just destroyed on... Like, don't get me wrong, I love Jon Favreau as an actor and a director and a Star Wars producer, because thank you for giving us The Mandalorian, like, I am indebted to you. But you still had some shit to take, so people called your ass out on that. What?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm always confused whenever people say Jon Favreau, considering there's the Jon Favreau who's the director, and there's the Pod Save guy, who's also Jon Favreau.
Oh, I don't even pay attention to that. No, I just think of, like, when the number one thing I think of when you say Jon Favreau is Rudy, because that was the first time I saw him in a movie. And then I think of the Iron Man director / Happy Hogan. It's the same guy. And now I think they brought us back to Star Wars. Thank you.
I mean,
but you still had a shit taken. We're gonna kill your ass.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. He had the nerve to say, like, this is the most... He said something like, this is the most egregious act or the most violence that any president in U.S. history. And people were like, hey, do you think he's the first president? Because, like, all of them have done... And people, like, easily brought up Andrew Jackson, Lincoln.
Easily,
everybody wants to give Lincoln credit for emancipating the slaves when he didn't do it out of the goodness of his heart.
Yeah, exactly.
First place. And in the second place, he also, like, furthered Native American genocide. So, maybe don't stand him. So.
Yeah.
Still love Jon Favreau for bringing us back to Star Wars, but don't have shit takes on your politics, man. We can't. We can do both. We can love you and hate your shit takes at the same time.
That's the worst. That's literally the worst thing about me joining Twitter, because I wasn't active on Twitter until like late 2018, so I could separate celebrities I like in their opinions. But ever since I got on Twitter, I can't avoid them. Like I was always really good at avoiding pop culture. I've never been a fan. I've never been a fan of following really that close. But ever since I got on Twitter, you literally can't avoid it. You literally can't avoid the shit celebrity takes. And I gotta say, I admit it. The one that hurt, the one that hurt the most. Once again, I don't follow none of these celebrities on Twitter, but now you can't unsee it. Terry Crews, that one was disappointing. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I liked Terry Crews for a while. Then I got a hold of some of his opinions. I'm like, God damn it, bro. God damn it, bro. See, that's why I don't do it. This is why I don't look into people's opinions. Now I learned that The Rock is a shit lib. Yeah. I'm like, oh, God. See how this why?
Oh, he moved to shit lib? He used to be a Republican.
Yeah, he's a Republican, but now he's a Republican shit lib. He like the Lincoln Project lib. And I'm like, God damn it.
Oh, okay.
That's
it's all the same.
Yeah, so I'm like, God damn it. That's why I'm like.
See, when I was younger, when I like to pull an old person, a really old person, like when I was your age, back like when I was in my teens, it was assumed, actually even younger than that, when I was a kid in the 80s. The assumption was if you were rich, you were a Republican, because Republicans were looking out for the money of people who had it. So even if you were, like, you know, there's a stereotype, like if you're black, you're a Democrat. Well, there was a stereotype if you're rich, you're a Republican. Yeah. So I assumed, like, in my head, all celebrities are Republicans. And people are like, oh my God, he's a Republican. I'm like, yeah, he's rich. Like, why is this confusing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was always my assumption, especially back in my dumb lib days when I used to assume that Democrats was the nice guys. I used to assume that like back in those days, I used to assume that any old rich white dude was a Republican. That was literally just like not even that it was rich. I was used to see old white dude like, yeah, that dude definitely a Republican. That used to be my mindset back then. But now I look at that like, all right, that's hella delusional. Like that's hella delusional because I rant all the time. And that's one of the things I learned when I got life experience is that those old, rich, white liberals, they are They're some of the most racist people you ever run into. They're some of the most disrespectful people you ever run into when you're serving customer service. Like when I was canvassing, I told my stories all the time. I don't need to repeat it. But I literally had a good time talking to some conservatives who were just kind of curious. Like, what socialism? What's going on? Like some people, some of them honestly was surprisingly cool. They're like, why the hell you believe in socialism? But then they kind of like just listen. But I'll literally knock on the door of white liberals and they would look at me and they see me on burning gear. They're like, not interested. Close the door. Some of the rudest people I ever met. The people that I served when I was selling cars, when I sold cars in Kansas. Once again, me selling cars in the rest, there were a lot of rednecks I've been around them. And almost like the rednecks know that they look racist. So since they know they look racist, they kind of try to appease that in a way, where they try to be cool. So it's kind of weird. But then I'll get the wealthy white liberal, the person I 100% know is a liberal, and those are the motherfuckers that be like, yeah, Nick, you're very clean and well spoken. you're very
articulate, Nick.
Yeah, you're very articulate. Like those are the people. Those are the people that will drop those low key bombs. I'm like, damn, what? Like people that swear to God. I remember my manager. I like this dude. I'm not trying to smear him. I'm not gonna say his name because he was a good dude. He had good intentions. Because I remember we was having some sort of performance review. I'll never forget it. Cause he like, yeah, man. I'm very glad to have you on my team. Cause you're a great representative for us. You're very clean, well spoken, very articulate. You're a hard worker. I'm like, I don't know if you be saying this kind of stuff. If it was a white dude, like in front of you, like clean, articulate, hard worker. I feel like, damn, this dude's even nice, but he had the low key ticks to it. Let's get some.
Mm-hmm.
Look at some of the comments while I'm talking too much shit.
Yeah. Speaking of old rich white dudes, Sheldon Adelson died today.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's one less donor for the Republicans.
Yeah, that's a good
Happy
one.
birthday to me. It wasn't Kissinger, it wasn't Cheney.
Sheldon
Adelson is gone.
Yeah, but I always say I'm just waiting for Henry Kissinger and Dick Cheney to be next. But it always I don't care what anyone say. I made my tweet. I'm glad to went viral as well. I say it's I don't care what anyone say. It's always fucking funny when evil people die, and there's nothing wrong with laughing at it, and there's nothing wrong with hating your oppressors. If you don't want people to laugh at your death, live your life with honor. It's literally that simple. If you don't live your life with honor, then you can't get mad when people laugh at you. And people, I remember when I was saying that, people were like, "Oh, what happened if someone laughed when you die?" I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'm already dead. I'm already dead. I don't care. So there's that. If I wronged you and I'm dead and you feel like you got shit on me while I'm dead, go ahead. That's your revenge. I'm sorry. That's how I feel. But if you're responsible for the deaths of millions and millions through your politics or about who you finance, in the case of Sheldon Adelson, I think it's a celebration when you die. I think everyone should be happy. I think you are owed, and this is the point I made earlier. Accepting the premise of the lesser of two evils is self-hate, whether people believe it or not, because you're telling yourself that crimes done against your community is not that big of a deal, whether you know it or not. Even if you're acknowledging that or not, because if someone did an untold amount of damage to the black community, like I think Joe Biden has done, or like any politician fill in the blank, this doesn't have to be about Biden. But then someone say that guy who did a lot of damage to your community, oh, he's just a lesser of two evil. Look at what he did. The grand scheme of things, it's not that big of a deal what he did. That's them saying that the people that was affected by the crime bill, people affected by the bankruptcy bill, the 1 million dead Iraqis because his pusher in the Iraq war, they don't really matter because he didn't hurt the white community. That's why I hear. That's why I hear when I hear that shit. That's why I put my foot down. That's why I didn't make a lot of white progressive friends throughout the course of this election season, because I wouldn't let them say that to me. Because I'm like,
you know what he's saying right now, Meg. What he's saying is you're one of the good ones.
See,
now you see how it feels.
That's
okay. Good to know, Nick. Thanks.
See, Jackie, you're a problem starter. You're a problem starter. I
speak truth.
I have mad respect for everyone who stands solidarity. Mad respect, because everyone know what I'm talking about. You guys know the style of rad lib I'm talking about. Let's call him the TYT left, and we ended there.
Considering, I love to hear that because K-Hive thinks I'm like mad racist. So.
Oh, they smear A1 as racist. K-Hive smear A1 as racist. They don't like Kamala Harris. Meanwhile, they constantly attack women of color like Brianna Joy Gray. They hate Cori Bush. They hate Nina Turner. And by the way, K-Hive is literally all white women. So you guys realize how problematic that is.
That's not true. It's white women and 3 black women that they chart out and they say these are K-Hive.
Yeah, there's like,
and it's like a couple of Japanese dudes.
There's like 3 black women, and like I said, if you look statistically, like the number's not there. And I'm not saying that to smear K-Hive. I'm looking at the fucking numbers. Like Kamala Harris had 1% black support before she dropped out. So
did it go up?
You guys are not gonna trick me. You guys are not gonna trick me.
But then they like get so offended if you try to tell them that it's like no, when you attack Kamala Harris, you're attacking black women. It's like, okay, you're supported by like 1% of black women. Most black women did not support Kamala Harris. So what are you talking about? Like, people got mad. I have a question. So mad at me for saying that Bernie Sanders' policies were more intersectional than Biden and Harris.
And that's a fact.
It's like that's not a controversial thing to say.
And that's why they blocked me, because they can't use that card. But go ahead, Jackie.
Here's the question. Why is it people, like K-Hive specifically, they say when you attack Kamala Harris, you're attacking black women. How come you're not attacking Indian women? She's half Indian.
Especially considering, like Nick has said multiple times, she has no relationship to the black community. She was raised by her Indian mother.
To the Indian community either. She's just out for herself.
True.
So.
Falcon Soar said on YouTube, this is a good comment backing up what we were saying earlier. Sheldon Allison, the man who bankroled the deaths of thousands of Palestinian babies. Yep. I almost want to flip it on people. Like, if you're willing to mourn that guy, you're kind of a piece of shit. You know how people say, if you talk shit on someone because they died, you're a piece of shit? No, if you actually mourn someone who did that, you're a piece of shit. Unless you're like direct family. Yeah. And even then, you can make the argument that if you don't take that guy out, you're a piece of shit. I don't care what no one says. Like, when people are... There's levels of evil. Like, some reason people are sorry, Madeline, I'm gonna go 1 second here.
Go ahead.
There's like levels of evil, right? And people acknowledge certain levels of evil. Like, if you murder someone, people are like, oh yeah, that guy's evil. They acknowledge that for some reason. Oh, that guy raped someone, he's evil. I acknowledge that. But for some reason, people don't acknowledge the evil and being responsible for the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people overseas. And once again, I stand solidarity for A1. So if you murder the guy, the murderer, he should be treated like how he's treated. But it kills me how in America war criminals are not treated like war criminals are literally treated like celebrities. They're murderers. They're responsible for the deaths of countless people.
I have a theory on that.
Yeah, go ahead, Jackie. Now I let Meg finish her thought. Go ahead.
And that's the same reason why I always thought it was so weird when you saw these libs like Rachel Maddow like saying, "Oh, Mr. Trump, I hope you recover from COVID." It's like, I thought you said he was Hitler. Like, if he's Hitler, you don't want him to recover. Like, you can't have it both ways.
Right.
You can't. Like, I know you want to have like the moral high ground or whatever, but like, I'm sorry, you don't have the moral high ground if you're calling him Hitler out of one side of your mouth and out the other side you're telling him to get better. Like, it always, like, that was mind-boggling to me.
It's funny how people always say I'm weak on Republicans, but meanwhile I'm willing to laugh when I was willing to laugh at Trump, and we made fun of Trump when y'all COVID. Meanwhile, liberals were like, "Oh, let Trump get better." At the end of the day, they sycophants to power. That's all that is. But go ahead, Jackie. I think we cut you off. What are you about to say?
I think the reasoning for that is similar to the reasoning for people forgiving people for, or like the war criminals. It's the similar thing to why people aren't taking COVID seriously, because they can't see it, so it's hard to quantify. You can't because I saw something about this. One of the science guys on YouTube did a thing about it, and like right after COVID hit and like so many people were refusing to wear masks, he as a scientist, he put out, like, I think this is why. Because since you can't see or hear COVID, it's like an invisible force. It's easy for people to ignore it. And when you tell people that hundreds of thousands of people are dying, people can't imagine that. They can imagine one person, they can imagine 10, they can imagine 100. But when you get into the hundreds of thousands or the millions, it's not even fathomable. Like, the human mind doesn't think on that scale, exactly. So it may as well not be real.
Exactly.
So I think it's the same thing. Like, the reason why people don't think that COVID is a real danger, until it hits them personally, is the same reason why people don't think war crimes that don't affect them are real. Mm-hmm. Because they can't see it. And when you tell them, like, literally hundreds of thousands of Palestinians are being murdered, they're like, I don't even know what a Palestinian looks like. So it's not in their face. Basically, people are stupid and lack empathy.
Yeah, that's why the media purposely avoids discussing war or showing pictures of war, because they learn from their mistakes. Because even if people hear the reporting of war, they can't really grasp how brutal and cruel it is until they see pictures. And this is why, in a way, like, I don't watch them now because I get it. Development, at my development as a leftist, I literally will force myself to watch some of those. I'll make sense of those pictures. Like, I force myself to see some of those pictures in Yemen. That hardened my resolve and hardened my hatred for anyone who's responsible for that. Now I try to avoid it now because I get it at this point. But this is what the mainstream media establishment and this is what the military-industrial complex adjusted for. Because Americans supported the Vietnam War, but when the Vietnam War was going on, that was going to be the TV's first war, and they expected it to be a ratings boom for them. So they were gonna show everything about the war. The first time we ever gonna televise the war, it would be all in. Then what happened? They did that, and then people saw the death and destruction of Vietnam, and then they called support for the war to plummet. Then after that, they're like, okay, that was a mistake. Never do that shit again. So now they will talk about war. And then, God forbid they ever actually report on the civilian deaths. Like they don't do that like they should. But even when they do, it's just they bring up like they'll bring up like nonchalantly, like, yeah, we had their civilian deaths, but it's just what it is. So it's literally manufacturing consent at the highest level when you actually understand what they're actually trying to do. When they want to normalize war, that's why they don't show the bodies. Like if everyone seen the bodies of the starved babies that I seen in Yemen. Well, I don't want to say that because Americans are fucking crazy. But any rational society, like I was about to say there'll be massive protests, but I'm like, I ain't talking about Americans, by the way. But in a rational society, that should be enough to fucking cause shit to shut down. But we would demand ending support for that. And I want to see what Biden's gonna do. But I want to see if I'm right. But I don't have any faith. That he's gonna end support of that. We see.
Why would he? He is more of a war criminal than Trump could ever dare to be.
Yep, that's what I was saying.
He's a war criminal.
Yeah, I was saying, I don't believe it.
War criminal.
I tell people I never give the ruling class benefit of the doubt. Never in a million years. I let them people like, oh, damn, I'll be making these predictions. Just so I've been called true. But I'm like, bro, just because I never give them ruling class benefit of doubt. Why would you act as your cheerleaders? Like, yo, they gonna give us $2,000 checks today, we win. Oh yeah, Joe Biden's gonna do this. Joe Biden's gonna do that. And then you're disappointed. Like, why would you do that instead of fucking calling their bluff? Like, yeah, no, he full of shit. He's not doing this. I'd rather me be wrong and them get me $2,000 checks than me getting people expectations of them propping these motherfuckers any more than they already deserve. Let them prove you wrong. That's how it should be. Like, you should constantly put pressure on them, and then when they prove you wrong, yeah, you give them props. But why give these motherfuckers benefit of the doubt? Why give the squad benefit of the doubt? Why give anyone the benefit of the doubt when it comes to politics? And I'm talking about even people I like. Why? It doesn't make sense to me. And that's
more than the benefit of the doubt. It's almost like they transfer Bernie's credits to Biden, because if you actually look at his 47-year history. Why is it people are like, oh no, he's going to do this, he's going to do that? No, he fucking isn't. He literally ran on, I am the Democratic Party, I am not a socialist. Why do you think he would give you Medicare for all? Every single opportunity that he has had to talk about Medicare for all, with the exception of, I take it back, there was one time, long before he became vice president, like I think in the 80s or 90s, when he mentioned that Medicare for all would be a good idea. And then he became VP and the ACA came along, and now he's like, oh, this is my legacy. Well, it's Barack Obama's legacy, but since he just attaches to the black guy and claims everything good that he did was him, it's his legacy. So he's like, yeah, I'm just going to bring it back, and then it's going to become my legacy. I'm the guy that brought it back. Like, yeah, the black guy started it, but I brought it back, and I made it permanent. See, it's going to be my legacy. That's literally, everybody can see through that shit. He's pretty much telling you that's what he's going to do.
100%.
How can you believe he's going to give us Medicare for all? He literally said he wouldn't do that. He said if it passed the House and the Senate, which, by the way, there's a far greater chance of that happening now since Democrats control both. He said if it gets on his desk and he's president, he will veto it. How does that turn into the cognitive dissonance of he's the only one that could get us Medicare for all? Zero intention of doing that. I am absolutely not going to do that. And then there are these idiots that are like, yep, he's our best.
The thing that comes down to, like, I hear Brianna Gray talk about this constantly. The fact that whenever they had that he believed in Medicare for all. If they even listened to him when he actually talked about it, he's like, no, I don't like Medicare for all. He was against it because he kept saying healthcare is a human right. It's like, you don't believe healthcare is a human right.
That's such a good
point. You don't at all.
Literally, like, in the next sentence, he would be like, well, I can't give you Medicare for all because my son died, which has literally fuck all to do with anything.
Which,
he had healthcare.
Which, even so, if it was because his son died, like, that would be a reason to support Medicare for all.
Exactly. He actually uses his dead son to attack Medicare for all. Like, that's how much of a scumbag he is. He uses dead son to attack him. I'm like, what the fuck? And
if you follow that thread, like, he was a senator when his son he was a longtime senator, and I think he might have actually just become VP when his son got sick and died, and it's still
at the end. It was right at the end of their term.
Okay, so he had literally the best healthcare in this country, and it still almost bankrupted him when his son died. And if that's not a reason to push for Medicare for all, like, if you're not going to do it after that, you have no soul.
Yeah.
You yourself, who has the best healthcare there is, you almost got bankrupted while sitting in the White House because of how expensive healthcare is.
While your son dies of cancer.
Exactly. But you'd rather cash the checks from the healthcare industry. We see you. How could you not see that?
Straight up scumbag. And
amen.
That one said
We see you. That's it.
I'm like, dude, he uses dead son to attack me. He used that as an excuse why we shouldn't push from universal health care. And people pretend that he has any sort of moral high ground under Trump. Should make no sense. Thank you for the subscription, Rising Return. I know I'll butcher that. But thank you for the subscription. Keep it up, guys. I hope you guys are enjoying this stream so far. Let me get some comments. I know I've been missing a ton of these comments here recently. But yeah, that's pretty much... You see, under the Biden administration, you're going to have that same propaganda that continue to go against Medicare for all and continue to go against Joe Biden and their support of Medicare for all. Like, hey, if you don't support Medicare for all, if you're not willing to do anything you can to force a vote and fight for Medicare for all right now in the middle of a pandemic, this goes against the argument of people who super believe in electoral politics. Because I'm one of the people, I say don't put too much stock in electoral politics, but we should all take our shot, right? But if you're one of the people that get mad at people for divesting for electoral politics, you can't get mad at people who divest in electoral politics when we can't get people to fight for Medicare for all in the middle of a pandemic. How can you, if you don't have health care and you can't get your representative to fight for Medicare for all, you can't get them to fight for that. How can you get mad at that person when they refuse to donate to progressive candidates? That's something to marinate on, and I want people to think about that because that's what the argument I was made throughout the courses. I think what people are missing, because if you want to continue to have an electoral squad, if you want to continue to have motivation behind the strategy of pushing the Democratic Party to the left and taking them over, you got to support force the vote, because if you don't do that, you actually hurt your credibility in the long run. Because then you get people, now people are like, okay, why should I spend my time quitting my job and canvassing for you? And that's another point I wanted to make earlier, going back to the primary, because the funniest thing when I hear people talk about the primary, because I canvassed with Bernie Sanders, the people who had the shittiest takes on the primary, you can tell they never spent any time in the field. Because people will say stuff like, people voted for Joe Biden over Bernie Sanders because they didn't want a progressive, they wanted a moderate, a safe choice. Like you hear shitty takes like that every once in a while. Bro, I swear to God, like you canvass. There's a point I think Meg brought up earlier. People will literally think Joe Biden and the Democratic Party is for Medicare for all. They literally would think that. Like I would literally be canvassing with people, and I would talk about Medicare for all, and they'd be like, "Yeah, we got to support all the Democrats because they're all for it, right?" Like that would be their assumption. People assume they're all for it, which ties back to the original force to vote argument. You dispel that myth altogether with that, right? All right, let me get the comment before I get going here. Let's see.
People are largely uninformed, and the reason for that is because the media is not on our side. We used to have journalists, and now we have media. Journalists actually check to find the truth, to understand what's really going on, and then report on it. We have media, which is essentially entertainment, but it's also propaganda.
Jay,
they don't really care about the truth.
Jay, that's another good point. Biden used. I remember this too. He said Biden used his dead son as a scapegoat for his support of the Iraq War too. Disgusting war criminal. I remember they were framed. I remember when this happened, when they framed this as, Trump and his family, they all draft dodgers and they never served our military, and that was the liberals' talking point at this time when Joe Biden was using this line of attack. And they were like, Joe Biden sent his son to war. And I'm like, I was like, bro, that's some psychopath shit. like that's not a good thing to me. Like they was like, yo, Joe Biden sent his son to war. He wouldn't make that sacrifice, send his son to war. I'm like, dude, that's fucking evidence that he's a unhinged psychopath war criminal. And the same war that the funny thing is, like, they will literally contradict themselves in the middle of the election. Because the same war, Joe Biden was like, yeah, I actually didn't support that. But then later they run a campaign like, yeah, I'll send my son to war. Like, you guys are literally contradicting yourself. And once again, the media propaganda, when I said America the most propagandized country, they never call them out on it. They never bring this kind of stuff up. And whenever they had a campaign push, they would go right along with it. Right on MSNBC, CNN, they're running stories like, yeah, Joe Biden, he sent his son to war. Isn't he so brave? Isn't he so honest? Isn't this the guy we try to trust the military to? And people think we're not the most propagandized country.
No, really all that shows you is that he's willing to kill his own son for a paycheck.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So,
OD Gaming brought something up, and I looked it up, and it looks like it might be true. He said, or she, I'm not sure. From Fox News, McConnell furious with president, thinks impeachment will help rid GOP of Trump.
Wow. Wow. Dude, that's actually gangster as fuck. Mitch McConnell is pissed. Mitch McConnell is pissed at Trump because Trump is idiocy cost him the Senate in a way, right?
Because McConnell, like, these are the last throes of McConnell being the leader.
Also,
because the Senate leader, he'll basically be Schumer, which is nothing. So,
I also have another theory. I'm trying to see. I'm trying to find this as well, so I can pull it on my screen.
Here, I'll send it to you.
All right, cool. Because you sent it to me on Twitter or something, so I'll message you.
On Twitter, okay.
Actually, I probably can find it if I just Google Mitch McConnell. But there was this civil war that was brewing on the right for Republican insiders that didn't want him to do that, and mostly not out of concern out of the health of the party. I think it was mostly them literally just concerned with their own career prospects. Like a lot of people want to run, they don't want to be under the badge of Trumpism again. They think that may hurt them down ballot like it did this year, this time around, and in 2018. I think they just, like Mitch McConnell said, I think they just want to be done with them. And especially now that he lost to Biden and he got this fat loss in Georgia in the Senate, and they lost in the Senate. I think the Republicans would love nothing more than get rid of him and field their own candidate in 2024, 100%. So that's why when I hear this news, it actually doesn't surprise me, especially now that Mitch got blown away in the Senate in that election, which is absolutely laughable that they lost that race. But yeah, I definitely see Mitch McConnell being salty at Trump because I made this point before on my show. I said I found it funny because one of the reasons why I pulled the trigger so easily for Joe Stein in 2016, because one of my rationales was, even if Trump wins, that's not necessarily going to be a good thing for the Republican Party, because I was like, all right, even if Trump wins, it's going to hurt the Republican Party over the long run. And boy, that does seem like it's been the case, isn't it? Because especially after, this is not me speaking on my, you guys know I don't got Trump derangement, but this country is deeply infected with Trump derangement. I've seen a level of opposition to him I haven't seen ever since the Capitol insurrection. And now the Republican Party, they using this Civil War I already seen that happening, but now they're using that as an even more excuse to go after Trump. Because I don't believe for 1 second that they really on principle against this. Do anyone really believe this? Believe that? Like the Republicans actually really discussed it? No one in our circles is naive enough to believe that. I hope not, right? So I think they see this as just another excuse to get people to turn on Trump and for them to regain their party back. Because if you look at their down ballot loss in 2018, and you see how Joe Biden, a candidate who has never been elected with his entire life, became an electoral juggernaut just because you say he was going to beat Trump. Dude, Trump, I think I was right in 16. I think Trump legitimately harmed the Republican Party and their brand. Do anyone think I'm off on that? Because I said it back then, I'm like, dude, I think he really fucked up. Because they hurt them down ballot because they were voting against Trump. There was an anti-Trump vote, but they continued to vote Republican. That's on top of the ticket. Oh, my disc. I'll be right.
Yes.
Oh. Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm back.
But I don't think that he hurt them until let's call it an insurrection, because I can't think of anything else. It's not a coup. It's like they had no plan. Let's just call it an insurrection. So, I think that was when he ultimately hurt them the most. Because the pro-Trump guys, like some of them were calling to hang Pence on that day, and Pence was like, "Yeah, fuck it, I'm still gonna for."
I think,
but I don't think he'll get very far.
I saw
I think he'll end up being like the Jeb Bush maybe
if he ran, but that was before that he was given. Well, they accepted the John loss, and then the fallout for the loss, because I think 100%. Trump's fear that was in delusion about the fact that he lost. But now, ever since Trump publicly conceded, after he publicly conceded, I'm like, oh, that's the first time I see him not being a favorite now. Because I actually would have done he soft like all the rest of them. So that might have hurt him. And then at the end of the day, the country doesn't like a loser. So what Trump was trying to do, the reason why he wanted people to think this election was fake and fraudulent, because he didn't want to take the L as the person who lost to Joe Biden. So he was going to use that to bulldoze right past it. The entire Republican base think the election was rigged, so he doesn't take that loser bump. And now that his plan failed in spectacular fashion, I've seen a lot of Republicans getting really upset. There is an argument that there may be another Republican insurgency that might be out Trump. We see how successful Trump media sphere is going to be, and because he obviously want to get in right media and counter Fox News, and I think his plan was get into Fox News and right wing media sphere, dominate that under the Biden years, and then run again in 2024. But now with how things go, I don't know if that plan to be so smooth. Public citizen. I think you're upset about my vote for a Green Party. I'm surprised it took this long to get one of those.
Find out what they're talking about, because
I think
see a random comment like whack argument. Tell that to the thousands of dead Americans and people around the globe. Like, but about what? What are you talking about?
I swear you watched my show before, but I explained my mindset before. Like, I vote. Go ahead.
They just responded, Trump's 5 years of chaos and destruction was worth it because it hurt the GOP. That is progressive martial artist argument. First of all, it's only been 4 years. And second of all, I don't think that's what progressive martial artist was saying.
I think that was...
I mean, if you include his actual presidential campaign, then I guess it would be 5 years. He
didn't have power during his campaign. He was just running.
True, but he still started the chaos, just coming down that escalator, say like Mexicans are, murderers and rapists. So I mean, the chaos did start.
You have to go all the way back to the Obama years, because you have to go back to the 2012, 2008.
Right, the birtherism, the birtherism.
Yeah, you got to go all the way back to 2008. He started saying that shit to get Hillary elected.
Mm-hmm.
So
everybody forgets that. Everybody acts like, oh, they're mortal enemies. Nah, they're friends.
Mm-hmm.
That's why she propped him up. The Pied Piper strategy. She was like, oh, I can easily take him out.
Right. Bill told him to run.
So the thing is, I want to make clear. The thing I want to make clear here, I didn't vote for the Green Party because I made a calculation that the Republican Party would be crushed in 5 years. That was the consequence of my decision. I voted for the Green Party because Hillary Clinton is a corrupt warmonger who I would never vote for in 1,000 years, and I would never apologize for that. I just want to make sure everything's clear, because it seemed like he's implying that I voted for her because I made that calculation. No, my calculation is the result of that, because I'm like, okay, I made that decision, and this is the result of my decision. My decision will lead to the Republican Party destroying itself, even if Hillary Clinton lost, and that's exactly what happened. And that was my mindset when it came for Green Party, because I told my story about what led to that vote before on this podcast, and I said, even before I learned who Bernie Sanders was, I know you weren't trying to be a dick. I'm not going after you, because I'm not mad when people push back at me. I'm not mad at you, bro. At least I don't get offended when people push back at me. But when I explained my vote at the time, like I said, I was going to vote for Hillary Clinton even before I knew who Bernie Sanders was. There's a lot of people who actually they had it different. There are a lot of people who voted for. Actually, I'm not even going to say that. I'm not going to speak on other people, because I think that's the perception. So I'm going to correct myself. I think the perception is people who voted for Jill Stein because they were salty because Bernie lost. And I don't know if that's true for anyone else. So let me correct myself. But for me, that had nothing to do with it. Like me voting for the Green Party is literally I came to that conclusion when I got radicalized against Obama. And that's why I'm like, okay, I can't have these wars. I can't have these war crimes on my conscience. I can't vote to damn another community to protect my ass. So I didn't see Hillary Clinton as a lesser to evil, but that's my life philosophy, and they just gotta deal with it. I'm not gonna vote for the oppression of other people, even if I believe that they might be a lesser to evil in my community. If I know they're gonna do heinous crimes and they're complicit with heinous crimes like Hillary and them did, I'm not gonna sign up for that. I'm not gonna be complicit with that. I think you can, at the end of it, you can vote your conscience, but in my conscience, I'm not going to sign up for that. Because when I read about the war crimes of Obama, when I see the crimes of the Democrat Party, when I see them constantly lying to me, and I see that I voted for them in 2012, I felt complicit. I felt like I gave them. I don't know how people feel when they vote for people. I feel like I gave them permission. Like how can I really complain about my politicians in the Democrat Party not listening to me when I keep getting them permission to vote when I vote for them? So my that's my own thing. I don't get mad. You guys never see me call anyone out or shame anyone because they vote for Joe Biden, because I think that's a personal conclusion that you got to come to grip with. If you think that he didn't commit the crime that worth you voting for him over Trump, I don't care if you reach that conclusion. I don't care. I don't think you should care if anyone ever made that conclusion. So that's how I feel in the matter, because I think you should vote your conscience, and it's my job to try and convince you to vote my way. So that's what I was trying to tell people. Like I wasn't vote training people in the primary. I never did. You can never find an example of me doing that. But I passionately made the argument for Green Party on my timeline. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna passionately argue for this, but you can do whatever you want to do. So I don't ever understood why people felt the need to waste their time to get mad at people what they do instead of getting mad at the ruling class, getting mad at Hillary Clinton or Joe Biden for being as corrupt as they are, getting mad at the Democratic Party for not representing the people. And once again, I see your comments now. I know you wasn't trying to go after us, and if anything, I'm thankful for you for open dialogue. I'm not mad at you. I just want to set the record straight. That's all what it was. Like people always like when people was calling me a Bernie buster and all that stuff. Like people was really mad because I technically advocated for that, but I was clear. Like I was like, bro, I'm not a Bernie or buster. I'm an independent. Like Bernie or bust is a myth. I guess there's some people who Bernie or bust. The people who's like, oh, you're Bernie law, fuck everything. No, I'm an independent. I'm an independent that just so happened to support Bernie Sanders, who's caucusing as a Democrat. Don't get twisted. Then when Bernie Sanders dropped out, Democrats didn't earn my vote. So there were a lot of people that was smearing me. They were like, "Oh, you're just a Bernie buster." You can call me that as you want, but that's not accurate. That's not the accurate way to assess my position. And people saying that and people yelling that, that's them misunderstanding, and they will never really understand the reality of the situation. Because before you get mad at me or you get mad at anyone else, just know there are millions of people who don't vote.
Are you ready? You can get mad at me because I was a Bernie or buster. I was a Bernie or buster back in 2016. I was a Bernie or buster in 2020.
I already knew exactly where I was going.
You want to know why? Fuck the Democrats for corporate. No, I'm serious. Like the reason why I was
go ahead.
is because I only vote for people that deserve my vote. People died for me to have the right to vote for who I want to vote for, not so that I could vote for a fucking Democrat. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. I can vote for whoever is on the ballot. I am a grown-ass woman. I can choose who to vote for. Fuck vote shamers, okay? You can vote for whoever you want. In fact, we should have ranked choice voting so that it actually matters who you vote for.
Yeah.
Amen.
Okay? Well, stop vote shaming people. You vote for who you want to. I was almost convinced to never vote again. After the bullshit the DNC pulled in 2015, I was like, why even vote? Like, what's even the point? But instead of not voting, I voted for Jill Stein. Not out of protest, but because she was the only person remaining on the ballot who had any semblance of a plan that was close to what I wanted. So I voted for it. It's all about policy. Yeah. Nobody else has the policy. I'm not voting for a warmonger. I'm not voting for the next career criminal. I'm voting for someone who gives a damn, who's going to actually do something about climate change, Green Party. I'm voting for someone who actually wants to give us some semblance of socialized healthcare, something that can actually help us when it comes to things like student loans. And that's not the Democratic Party. So if you should be shaming anyone, you should be shaming the Democrats who decided to turn their back on the people.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. And I think that sums up our position on that pretty much perfectly. I wanted to give Jackie the last little spill there. Do you got anything you want to add on to that, Matt? Because we're about 2 hours in. I'm calling. I want to plan on doing an hour. I think it was IMB. Someone called me out on that because I always lie. I always like I'm gonna do an hour, and I end up doing 2 hours. So I'm gonna call it here. Do you got anything you want to add on to that before we sign out, Meg? I don't want to get canceled for cutting you off.
No, you're fine. I mean, I'll be quite frank that, I was that horrible lib back in the day that, I was all like, oh yeah, I volunteered for Obama back in the day. And I'm not, I'm not ashamed of my experience because I had a lot of fun. And I won't lie, I supported Bernie in the primary in 2016. I did Hillary in the general just because I was scared of Trump. But I've changed a lot since then. Right. I've grown a lot, and I didn't vote for either. I didn't vote for Biden. I voted for Gloria La Riva, and I'm very proud of that vote.
Amen.
And I'm not ashamed of it at all, because that's part of my principles. That I love Angela Walker. I wish she was the one who was running instead of Howie Hawkins. And if it had been Angela Walker, I probably would have voted for her. But Gloria La Riva was a woman who was closer to my politics, so I voted with Gloria La Riva. And I'm very proud of that vote. I wasn't going to vote for another Biden or Harris. And it really pisses me off when I'm on Twitter and I have, Biden supporters or Harris supporters coming at me saying we beat Bernie twice, so get over it. It's like Bernie's finally out of the picture. It's like, okay, do you really think that's winning you support? Do you really think that's winning you support when you do that to people?
It's a class war at the end of the day, and they know what side they're on, and that's why they do that. They know exactly what side they're on. You put it perfectly. But now, we'll sign off here. I'll probably go live again. I'm gonna bring my boy Carlos on. He was on earlier this year. He's my new foreign policy guy. We didn't discuss Pompeo and his escalations on Iran and what to expect under the Biden administration. So I'm gonna try to schedule that, but you can expect that coming up here very soon. Anyway, you guys know what time it is.
So one last thing, just before we go. I already put the link in the chat. I'll put it again too. Go buy that Force to Vote mug from Jackie's shop. And Jackie, if you want to give my birthday code, you can give my birthday code. Like, that's cool. Go buy from Jackie's shop. Go get that Force to Vote mug.
Nice.
Because it's awesome.
Nice. Support Jackie.
Thank you, Megan. One thing I just want to say real quick, because Public Citizen came in again and said that they will continue to vote shame because votes have consequences. I responded, votes have consequences? And then I laughed and said that's the funniest thing I've ever heard. If votes have consequences, Bernie Sanders would be president. Just saying.
Well said.
Votes don't have consequences, okay? Because the DNC puts their finger on the scale and makes sure that you have to choose their candidates. We don't really have a democracy. We have the premise of a republic. We have the notion that you should vote. Voting is what keeps us attached to the Matrix. And I don't mean like we're actually living in a Matrix. I mean like if you watch the second movie, you realize the problem is choice. It's the same thing with the U.S. government. As long as they have you believe that you have a say, all you have to do is vote, then you won't be in the streets saying, hey, I didn't sign up for this. I don't want my government killing people overseas. I want my government giving me health care.
Amen.
Votes don't actually have consequences. They don't have the consequences that you think they do. Not even in the general. Because it can be rigged. That's why they do things like shut down. Like they're like, somebody said it. I think last time we were on, when they brought up. I think it might have been Nick. When they brought up exactly how elections can be not just like straight out rigged, but how they can affect it. Like they have all the numbers, and they're like, okay, all the people voting for this one candidate, like most of them live in this district. So let's just shut down the polling places in that district. And then hopefully most of them won't go out to another district to be able to, to find a place to vote. Also, a lot of people don't have a ton of time to vote. So when you make it so that they literally have to stand in line for 12 hours, they can't because they have to work, they have to go to school, they have to have a babysitter. So they just make it as difficult as possible for people to be able to vote. Our voting system is entirely rigged, and not just the primary level, also at the general level. So, and then, people believe that, which is why they're like, oh, Russia did it. If you believe that Russia interfered, or any country, because now some people are saying Italy did it. If you believe an outside force has the ability to affect our elections, that means deep down, our elections aren't authentic. And they aren't.
True.
But the deal is, it's coming from inside the house. It's us that's rigging the elections, us as in Americans. The DNC and the RNC have their fingers on the scale, or sometimes their whole foot on the damn thing. Our votes don't count for fuck all, especially in a situation where you have the Electoral College. How many Republican votes in the state of California mean a damn thing?
Yep, our democracy is rigged, and liberals are not our friends. Our job is to destroy them with our arguments and convert them. We're not